3, 2, 1.
You're supposed to let it be silent.
When?
For 5 seconds.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then you clap.
Are you ready now?
Mm-hmm. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tea with Crema. My name is Kris. I'll be your host today, along with my best friend, Emma.
What up?
And today, we're continuing a conversation as part of our February month of love conversations. I'll let Emma kind of take it away and explain the purpose of this episode.
The whole purpose of this episode is to spill the tea on what is going on with Kris's love life. I know inquiring minds want to know, do he got a man? Do he got somebody in his life? We're going to figure that out today. But before we get started, because it is the Tea with Crema, Kris, what are you drinking today?
Today, I have a nice peppermint hot chocolate from Target. You know, I changed it up because I just survived Snowpocalypse, Texas, 2021. And I will say I do not recommend Target brand hot chocolate. This is my first time trying it. So at Target, please reach out so we can talk about how to improve your hot chocolate, because this ain't it.
I'm currently drinking a water bottle because I am still currently in the Snowmageddon. I don't have any water because our pipes are frozen. So your girl just doesn't have any hot water to heat to make tea. It'd be like that. We out here making it work in a Snowmageddon / pandemic. Jumping right into it, I think that it is important for us to kind of discuss with Kris, like, what do you want to get out of this episode? And you can even explain your feelings towards this episode if you're, like, not keen on it. Like, how do you feel?
So I didn't want to do this episode at all. This is, I feel like it's Emma's brainchild, but there are so many other people in the background who are like, yeah, go for it. Talk about it. Let's do it. And so I felt like there's a lot of peer pressure to do this episode, and it's fine. You know, it is what it is. We'll have the conversation. We'll learn some things. And my compromise was the episode that we had with Isaac. So I genuinely can't say that I necessarily have any goals for this episode. I am just here to participate and answer questions honestly.
He's just here so he don't get fined. That's really what he's saying. So, speaking about that pressure, you're talking about how, like, yes, this is my brainchild, but this is not just, like, a culmination of me. It's, like, me, your mom, your coworkers, your friends. So, like, how does that pressure to date, how does that make you feel? And why do you think that there's so much pressure from everyone? So, like, 2 questions.
I think it's because I'm 26 and have not been in a sustained serious relationship. So I would imagine people are just getting to that point where they're like, okay, great. When are you going to settle down? I think it's just like a natural part of the conversations that people are having. My siblings both have been in relationships. They have children from said relationships. So for me, being the oldest, but to not also have those experiences just has people kind of wondering, all right, when is it your turn? So I think that's most of what it stems from. And then also just people being curious and concerned.
I think, like, concerned, like, you're 26, you're still young, you know? It's not like you're 100 years old and they're not in a relationship. Like, I feel like there needs to be a conversation about normalizing being single and, like, living your life the way that you're living it. You know, like, you're so young. So, like, is there a reason why you haven't gotten into a relationship yet? Is it, like, career, or you're just, you know, waiting for the right person? Like, what is that?
So I've hinted at it before. I think it was one of the rapid fire questions from the end of an episode about what is one of the things that you dislike the most about yourself. And I said that I don't trust easily. So I would say that's probably the biggest barrier. A relationship, I think, is built on that ability to build trust. And since I'm someone who does not trust easily, it's hard for me to engage with people on that level because I have ideas about what relationships are and should be. And seeing other people in those relationships have informed those ideas and ideals. And so I think I struggle with the starting stages of relationships and dating and getting to know people, because I just want to be at the part where we trust each other and have access to all the things and just like have these intense conversations. But you can't just jump to that point. You have to build up to it. And I'm not great at the build up.
So future Kris's partner, You just gotta be ready for the intensity, just like off the bat, 0 to 100. Like, cool, you like me, I like you. Let's talk about climate change really quick. And have those deep philosophical questions and conversations ready. Okay, so cool. Trust maybe is sometimes becomes a non-starter, but like what are some beliefs and like values that you believe that your ideal partner should have?
What a question.
Is that loaded?
No, I just have to think about it. Because I've thought about it before, but I don't know if I have an answer.
I mean, do they need to be honest? I think that's a good one. Trustworthy. These are good values and beliefs I think everyone should have.
I was like, yeah, those are general things that, like, as a standard, you should not be a sketchy person. Like,
non-toxic.
I mean, I guess there are certain things that, like, I value more than average, I would say, I guess.
What are those?
So I know timeliness is a big one. That's a major thing for me. Honoring commitments is a pretty massive thing. I definitely think there's like a balance. And I think my thing is I'm at a point where I'm going to present the things that I do, the things that I like, and then having to find someone who has a healthy balance of mutual interests, but also some things that are not the exact same. Because I don't need to date a copy of myself. And I think it's a healthy way for us to still be able to have space of, I really enjoy this thing. I'm going to go do it with myself or with my friends. And that doesn't mean that like we're not in a good space. Sometimes I just need to not be around you. And that is something that I have to navigate. So someone who's comfortable with figuring out how to navigate the right amount of space and time together. Because I'm not that person that has to be around you all the time. It's nice to like check in to see how things are going, but to also know that like, hey, I'm going to dinner with my friends. I will see you when we get back. And like, that's it. There's no drama around it. Unless of course there's like prior engagements and then you're just blowing off, or I'm just blowing off said engagements. That's a different type of conversation. Again, that reliability from the beginning.
So again, to Kris's future partner, timeliness and keeping your commitments. I know that those are such important things to Kris. I'm just dropping, nuggets of knowledge here. If anyone wants to date Kris, like this is it, y'all. Okay, are there any deal breakers?
Yeah, if you smell bad.
Ooh, but
I know it's really shallow. Can you though? Because I feel like to a certain extent, like sometimes you smell bad out of like habits and choices.
But what if they could fix their smell? What if they can work on fixing I guess if they're like, your age, they're like 26, 27 years old and they still smell bad, like that's another larger conversation that needs to be had. Okay, I mean, that's a good deal breaker. Are you like against dating a smoker or like against dating someone who has some vices? Like,
I don't think I could date a smoker, mostly because like that smell permeates everything. Like my dad was a smoker growing up, and it would be like my mom was super strict about it. So he could not smoke in the car. He could not smoke in the house. He could only smoke outside, but still knowing that even in those like limited spaces that he could smoke, it still permeated like your clothes and just, so I would highly prefer not to date a smoker. I would say, I know oftentimes people ask about like drinking. I wouldn't say like I have a problem with someone who is a casual drinker because I drink every now and then. I will also go long periods of time without drinking. So I would say like a person who does drink is fine. Also, if you don't drink and you're not like a judgy non-drinker, like, I don't drink. Why are you drinking at all? Okay, I want a glass of wine. Like, it is what it is. I want to go to a restaurant and get a cocktail. Like, why are you judging me? Leave me alone. So a casual fun drinker, I think would be, I don't know if that's the right terminology. An occasional, there we go, occasional.
Oh, an occasional one. So if on your doctor's forms, when they put drinking and you put 1 to 2 times monthly, you're in the zone. Okay, so are the opinions of your loved ones important when choosing a partner? Or is this really just like a you and your partner type of thing?
I would love to say, no, they're not important at all. But yeah, I think so. And it's definitely a question that I've had in the back of my mind where I consider a person and then I think, what would my family think if I showed up to theoretically like Thanksgiving with this person or on a trip to Austin? Like, what would they think? What would be their interpretations? Not necessarily because I need them to accept said person, but I do care about what other people think. I also think genuinely that the people that are close to me are truly looking out for me. So if they're not vibing with a person, again, they don't have to be best friends with everyone in my family. I'm not always best friends with everyone in my family, but I still think that those people give feedback and say things with the best of intentions. So I consider what they say, not necessarily as a deal breaker, but it is a true consideration, because if they're looking out for me, they mean well, it's fine. But also, like, at a certain point, if I've committed to this person, like, I need you to just stop being so annoying about it if you don't get along with them. This can't be a rom-com where we have like family drama at the wedding because now you have all of these unspoken feelings that you feel like need to come out. I promise you I will kick you out of my wedding. I don't care who you are. Vocalize it before the wedding or leave. I'm not playing with you.
We used to always joke around that whoever Chris's future partner is has to get along with Isaac because then they can do their thing and like Kris and I can still do our thing. So also, if you get along with Isaac, bonus points. But Isaac gets along with everyone, so I feel like that's not a really good gauge of will this person be a good partner or not. Okay, let's get into like the nitty gritty now. What does your potential dating timeline look like? Do you even have one?
First of all, I thought we were already in the nitty gritty. I felt grilled from the jump. But as for a timeline, no, I don't have one at all. Not even set up, not a contemplation. It is what it is. If it happens, it happens. If it don't right now, it don't right now.
Cool. And what are your dating goals for the future?
Theoretically, I think having a partner to do important things in life with. Just because I consider how much easier certain things are when you have another person to rely on, to depend on. And I know it's a mutual thing, obviously. So being able to support that other person as well. But I think there are a lot of mental, emotional benefits to having a person that you have to rely on and depend on for all of the things that are going to happen later in life. So could I handle them by myself? Probably. It might take a little longer. It might be a little bit more difficult. So I think it's nicer to just have that person to lean on, to talk to depend on in those instances.
What dating apps do you like and what dating apps do you dislike if you are currently on any of the apps?
Well, my coworkers, Marley and Christy, put me on Hinge.
Shout out to Marley and Christy.
I really think I don't know if it was my birthday, but it was around October or so last year. And we were just at a restaurant.
Not last year. The year before that.
I guess
Pre-Panini.
I'm thinking like last school year kind of thing, but like, yes. So like 2019. Yes. We were at a restaurant in Fort Worth and they were asking all these questions. And Marley was like, oh, I know this app that you could try. And she took my phone, downloaded Hinge, got me a whole profile, chose all the pictures, started answering the questions. Granted, she was typing in my answers to said questions. She was not answering the questions on my behalf. So that would be like the only dating app that I'm on. And I don't really like it mostly because it just keeps suggesting all these people from Dallas. And I don't live in Dallas.
Okay, so at Hinge, do better. Do you feel like these apps do a good job of catering to their LGBTQIAS2+ communities?
I genuinely don't know. I don't know if Hinge has a lot of people from that community that are on it actively. So it is hard to know if the lack of availability in Fort Worth is just because like the community is not there. I don't know much about Fort Worth in that regard, that background, that information. So I don't know if that's part of the problem or if it is because, yes, there are some apps that are genuinely just not really great at fulfilling the needs of that community. And then that community itself tends to be a little exclusive and annoying in that it's very catered to individuals that fit a very specific demographic. And I check none of the boxes of said demographic. And so that also can be an added difficulty when dating in the community.
Thank you. I think we need a separate episode based on just your experience and all of the things that go along with being a part of the community or like feeling excluded from the community. And then there's a whole bunch of things that go along with it that I think a lot of people don't realize. Because just because you know somebody who is LGBTQ and then try to set them up with somebody else who's LGBTQ doesn't mean that they'll always get together, you know? Like, you can't just do that. which I learned. It's a learning process. I would tell Kris all the time, oh my gosh, I have a friend. Oh my gosh, I have a cousin. He's like, that's not how this works. I get it now. So, did like a lot of research into like these matchmaking questions and questions that matchmakers are currently asking in this like pandemic. And I know that that's been kind of difficult to start dating. Do you have any thoughts about dating during the pandemic? Was that even on your mind at all at any point while we were in quarantine and all that stuff?
I think it was one of those things that we had set up. We had talked about all these things that we were going to try. So like going out and joining a sports league and like being more social and all this other stuff. And so like dating was going to be on that list of things that I like tried to prioritize and do better at. And then the pandemic happened and I very quickly like latched onto that reason. I was like, oh, it's not going to happen right now because people have talked about Zoom dates and I don't know, all this other stuff. And I'm just awkward enough in the beginning. I don't need to like make it more awkward by like trying to talk through a computer and then getting easily distracted by other things. So I just said, nah, I'm going to table this for later and I will be more diligent about it when, you know, it's a little easier to actually do in a way that is safe and responsible and all those other questions and things.
Computer love. No.
It's not for me.
Okay, so going back to what I was saying about the matchmakers and everything. I researched a bunch of matchmaking tips and tricks and looked up the top matchmakers in the country, and they came together and compiled a list of 48 questions. I'm obviously not going to ask you 48 questions, although I think it would be highly entertaining. So if y'all would like a part 2 with all the questions, just like let us know. I found 8 that I thought were really interesting. Matchmaker, that is I'm the matchmaker, and I'm so excited. So, first of all, drum roll, matchmaker quiz. First question. If you're sitting next to someone on an airplane and they fall asleep, but you have to use the bathroom, do you wake them up so you can go past them, or do you shimmy around them?
I shimmy around them. I've done this before. I think it's true. It's a true experience. I don't like talking to people, so I'm definitely going to get around them without talking to them as much as possible. Or I'll just wait until the end of the flight if the flight is short enough.
That's how you get a UTI. Don't be holding it, y'all. Go use the bathroom if you have to use the bathroom. I can just see Kris like getting up and like, no, do I really have to go?
Can I just wait?
So Kris is a shimmier. I just like don't have to use the bathroom on flights now that I think about it. So
yeah, because you sleep the whole time.
I see nothing wrong with that. Anyway, next question. Do you have any superstitions?
Like the don't split the pole or the cats, the black cats and things like that?
Anything. Like some people consider that to be superstitions, yeah. Like Isaac has this superstition that you can't, it's a Psalm 1 you don't brush your hair at night, because then there's this lady that'll come and chop off your head.
It's so, like, a superstition like that is so unreasonable. Like
You don't know what be happening on the islands.
This lady's gonna come cut off your head because you brush your hair at night. I don't have any superstitions, but I would say, like, I'm flexible in that if someone else has superstitions, like, I will not go against their superstitions and like make them feel uncomfortable about them. So like my kids will yell all the time, oh, don't split the pole. Fine, we will walk on the same side of this pole if it bothers y'all so much. Like small stuff like that, it just doesn't bother me. So like I don't have any superstitions, no, but I will address other people's superstitions. Again, so long as they're not outrageously inconvenient.
What happens if you split the pole?
I don't know, it's a bad luck thing. But it's also it's not just my students. Other adults that I've been around have also said the same thing.
Next one. What was your favorite childhood meal?
Cereal.
Do you have a type of cereal that you liked?
Fruity Pebbles. Except we didn't have Fruity Pebbles. We were poor, so we got the off-brand version of them. But
the Tootie Pebbles.
Though I forgot what they were called. But yeah, like they're little colorful pieces of cereal. Those ones. Mm-hmm. Those were my favorite.
I don't know. Sometimes the store brand be on point. The only store brand cereal that I dislike and hate to this day is store brand Cheerios. I don't know what Cheerios does, but store brand does not do it well. The Frosted Flakes is pretty good in both Kellogg's version and Smart and Final version. See, I thought you were going to say like your mom's like meatloaf or your mom's spaghetti was like your favorite. I was Okay, so cereal. That was Chris's favorite
Like,
child.
my mom knows how to cook really well, yes. But, like, also, I learned how to cook myself at a very young age. So, also, I don't like meatloaf.
I love meatloaf. Oh, it's my favorite. Anyway, okay. What do you irrationally hate?
The scent orange. Things that are banana flavored. But, like, not bananas. I like bananas, but, like, banana flavored things. Most pineapple flavored things are also not very good. The flavor doesn't translate really well. Other things that I irrationally hate.
Like, what just grinds your gears?
I don't, because there's a lot of things that just like really aggravate me. So many small things. I'm just like, why did you do that? Like, I don't understand. Like when people are like late, and even like the small little bitty lates of like, oh, I'm just like 1 or 2 minutes late. Because like, it sets up a whole domino effect, so I get really aggravated when people are like even the smallest bit late. And I know because I have 8 million alarms throughout the day, so I'm on time to everything that I do throughout the day. So there's always around being late. That's my take on it. Small things there's a lot of small things that just kind of get on my nerves. I'll have to ask my sister and my brother. I feel like they would know them better than I do.
I was like, for sure the lateness thing. I was like, that's something that I'm just like chronically late, and not even like a good kind of late. I'm just late all the time. So Kris has had to work with that and had to realize that was not going to be a deal breaker in our relationship because I really try, y'all. I really do. That's the problem. I also have 8 million alarms set, and I'm still like late to everything. And that's not an excuse. I also think that time is a social construct created by the man. So this is me decolonizing time. Just kidding. But not really. I'm trying to think of, no, I really feel like, oh my goodness. See, there goes an alarm.
Mm-hmm. It's okay, I turned my phone off this time, so even if someone called, we wouldn't hear it.
I agree with the lateness thing. I think that's something that really annoys him. And I honestly, like, the things that I've seen that have annoyed you is lateness and then people breaking their commitments. Like, you'll have, like, a time, or, like, people who are indecisive about their plans. Like, oh, let's go out to dinner, and then they cannot come to a consensus about, like, when said dinner is happening, so you kind of just, like, do your own thing around it.
Yeah.
That's what
Or, I mean, it's not so much that you're indecisive. I just really don't like people that are indecisive, and then you make the decision, and then they don't like your decision. So it's like, no, wait, no, I asked you what you wanted. You said, I don't care. So then I came up with something, and now you don't want that thing? Oh my God.
Okay, we're going to move away from this question because then people are going to think that
I'm just angry all the time.
all these things. So he's really a pleasant person, y'all. Okay, next question. What is your ideal day?
So an ideal day at home would just be kind of how I just spent the week. So like waking up, reading when I want to, if I want to do some work, getting some work done, catching up on any shows that I might want to watch, catching up on any video games that I've been playing. But like a super, super ideal day, and I guess this is borderline like vacation type day, is going to the beach. Not the beach that Emma tried to kill me at that one time, but like any other beach. Any other beach.
I did not try to kill him. Kris said that he knew how to swim at a beach, so I took him to the Pacific Ocean because we were in California at the time. And then he gets into the water and then all of a sudden doesn't know how to swim. And I was like, bro, you said you knew how to swim at a beach. Apparently the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean are two different types of oceans. I don't know. I don't ever think I've been to the Atlantic Ocean, so I can't. Also, I grew up in Hawaii, so like we just knew how to swim at the beach. So I think I assume when people say like, I can swim at a beach, they mean all types of currents at the beach too. We also like happen to go during high tide, so that's like, you know, notoriously a little bit more difficult to swim at. So I will take the blame on that one. Did you die though?
No, because I can swim.
He got out immediately and was like, this is not it, this sucks. And then of course Isaac comes in, you know, and saves the day the next day and takes us to a much better beach. I roll. Anyway.
See, that's why it makes it seem like you were trying to kill me.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled Tea with Grandma to bring you an Isaac break. Okay, I'm recording. He's telling me a story. He's character mining.
A whole story.
Wow. No, not right now. No, I'm good. Babe, we're recording. Wow. So good. Would you like to say hi to everyone while you're here?
Hey, everybody.
Wow.
Okay, bye.
Oh my goodness. You stay doing this. Okay, next question. Do you have a question you'd like to ask in a matchmaker quiz? Like, what is a question that you would know, like, oh, this person is the one for me, if you ask them?
I don't know. I had fun with that.
Never mind. Not helpful.
What about a question in his search for a potential new best friend?
Like, you're just looking for a good friend. What was something that you would ask them to, like, know, like, oh, like, this person could be, like, a good friend to me?
It just happened.
See, he just said they just happen, and it's because Isaac is such a nice guy. I'm telling you. Like, what is something that, like, oh, dude, like, this is it. Like, we on the same level. Wavelength there.
I think it's like, I gotta talk to people. Just start spouting like that.
I think Isaac would ask him, like, do you believe in conspiracy theories?
Okay,
Oh my
so it's not conversations I have with people.
These are just private thoughts you keep in your head?
Yeah, dude. You can talk like that to people. People think you're crazy. But I know the truth.
I've seen the truth.
I know what's really happening out there.
Okay, close the door. Oh my goodness, just wasted 5 minutes of my time. Now I have to edit that whole bit out. Okay.
You might as well just put it at the beginning again.
I know the truth.
Did you pick up lunch?
Taco Bell.
Ew. Taco Bell. I have another episode to record after this. Well, take my wallet.
See, I want to get to this part where like, okay, here, just take my wallet. Go, pick us something up. Ugh, I don't want to like, oh, here, take my wallet. And then I come back and there's no more money in the account like that.
You went from, like, not trusting to too trusting. Like, it was too... There was no middle ground. You just... 0 to 1.
Exactly. No, not what I'm trying to deal with.
Okay, sorry everyone. I'm gonna edit that whole thing out. So let me start again. So,
No, now you have to keep the wallet thing in there for an example of what I was talking about.
is there something that you've dreamt of doing for a long time?
Yeah, going to Brazil.
Why haven't you done it?
Because I don't have a passport and it's expensive, and then the world decided to close down.
I don't know what I was expecting to get out of the answer, except I knew that. Okay, awesome. Next, if you could have front row seats to any concert, who would you like to see?
Man, if you had asked me a few years ago, I would have known. I'd been like, oh, yeah, it's Lady Gaga for sure. But in my current life, I don't know. Oh, you know who I'd go see? I do know. I don't know why I lied. I'd go see
I do
Bad
know,
Bunny.
too. I was like, Bad Bunny, baby.
I'd go see Bad Bunny. And if he was unavailable, I'd go see Kane Brown and be fine.
At Bad Bunny, you have a huge fan over here. You know. Anyway, Kane Brown, I don't really know any of his songs. Like, I know his songs if I hear it, but I don't know any of them offhand. But at Kane Brown, yeah, you're pretty cool too, dude. One multiracial person to another. We see you. We out here. We making it work in the country world. If you could be brilliant at any subject, which one would you choose?
First of all, I'm already brilliant at like 8 subjects. Just kidding. I think it would be... Is like learning languages a study in a practical sense?
So like learning like multiple languages, like picking up Portuguese or Spanish or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What would be a language that you would hope to be fluent in the future?
100% Spanish, but like also Mandarin. Like I really want to learn Mandarin. I don't know why. I just want to learn Mandarin. I think also because it's so different from the languages that I have studied and have experience with. So I think it would be... That's like my dream language. Also not very practical. I don't know anyone in my life that speaks Mandarin. So it was like when I learned Portuguese, just on a whim. Like when I learned French on a whim. When I learned Latin, I don't even know if that was a whim because I knew no one spoke Latin at all, anywhere. So...
Did it help on the SAT at least?
I guess. Possibly. I don't remember taking the SAT. I did take my SAT, everybody, but... I don't remember taking
He went to UT. He's a fraud. He did not take the UT. He did not take the SAT, y'all. He was just out here. Abby could have had her spot had you not been there, Kris.
First of all, I took my SAT. I don't remember what the score was because I didn't like the SAT. I prefer the ACT.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
It would be that my proudest accomplishment, because I don't want to say like graduating from college. That's so cliche.
I think that's a real life thing though, right? First gen.
Mm-hmm.
Were you first in your family too?
In my immediate family, so like of my mom, dad, and siblings. Yes. So I did that, and then I have a master's degree, and then I'm considering a doctorate. Well, actually, I know I'm going to get a doctorate at some point. I just have to figure out what it's going to be in. So, I mean, yeah, I guess it would be that. I haven't done anything like extravagant, run a marathon in a record time or anything.
Just run a marathon, period.
You know, I'm going to do it before 2025.
If you live to be 100, would you rather have a sharp mind or a fit body?
A sharp mind. What good is a fit body if you don't remember who you are?
I got an 8-pack though.
I can run this 5K, like...
But I don't remember where I'm running to or why I'm running.
Like, sir, what's your name that you registered with? I'm not sure. Can you talk to my nurse?
Me, I'm the nurse. Christopher Smith Wright, he's here.
Because you chose sharp mind. No, I would choose sharp mind over fit body.
Okay, and last question. I know that was more than 8 questions, but I felt like the conversation needed more, so I asked more. What's one goal that you hope to accomplish by the end of 2021?
Well, according to my vision board this year, I am going to be in a better financial position than at the start. So I'm being very, very diligent in that. And I'm going to be in a better physical space. So I'm working out and doing stuff like that. I'm on month 2 of doing better. And what else am I doing in the year 2021? Really making decisions for career moves. So reflecting and considering what the next steps are going to be and starting to make those steps and preparations for that. So I would say by the end of 2021, I need to be making significant progress in all of those areas. I don't know if I have this isn't really my big final goal year. For me, this is a big progress year. So I'm going to be making a lot of steps towards future big goals this year.
And that was the end of our matchmaker quiz. So thank you for participating. See, wasn't that painless? I feel like that was the less nitty gritty.
Yeah, those were easy questions. It was all those other ones at the beginning. I was like, oh my God, someone's gonna...
I didn't know if I had to ease you into it or if I just had to attack and then bring you back.
I was like, we probably should have just started with the matchmaker questions.
And as usual, how we always close every single episode, we end it with a rapid fire question. So, Christopher, what is your rapid fire question for today?
Oh man, I had to answer all these questions and I gotta ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, my question is, what is one trait that you have that would make you a terrible boss?
My timeliness. I'm not on time to anything. I really try. I'm not. Yeah, I think that would be it. What about you?
It would be the opposite. The literal opposite, but to the extreme of
You're too prompt?
Too prompt, and expect that of other people. And so then getting very frustrated and annoyed when people are not meeting that expectation, and then having to figure out how to reconcile those differences. So I think that would be my terrible boss moment.
Bad bosses. Okay, my question is and some background is that Kris sent me an article earlier this week talking about how Citibank lost a lawsuit because they had accidentally sent Revlon stakeholders $500 million. And so he had sent this back, and then Citibank was like, okay, we need that money back. But the Revlon stakeholders were like, no, you made a clerical error. We're not sending this back. I'm sure that there's more to it. This is also just what we read from the article. So my question to you is, if Citibank dropped $500 million in your bank account, first question, are you returning it? And second question, what are you buying if you're not returning it?
No, I'm definitely not returning it. Again, this is Citibank here. I'm not stealing from a mom and pop shop. Nope, it's Citibank, big old corporation. They'll be okay. And if I had $500 million to spend, I would definitely use it to jumpstart my tiny home community. So not just my tiny home, it'd be a community, maybe a suburb even, a whole city. So that's what I would use it to do. It'd be the seed money for my dreams.
Yes, period. If Citibank dropped it in my account, I would not return it as well. But if they're you only got a day to spend it, I'd be bet, I'll spend as much as I can. I would first buy a huge plot of land and buy some houses on it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not what I would first do. I would actually forgive all of my family's loan, from student loans and all that stuff. So even then, even if I, forgave that, I'd still have $499 million and a lot of money left. I would have a lot of money left over. So I would definitely forgive all of, even, my close friends. I'd forgive all y'all's student debt. So become my friend now.
For that clerical error.
And then, after that, then I would buy a house, a nice house in California and in Texas.
Where? Oh my gosh, she said 2 houses.
In Hawaii. Every single place that I've lived, I would buy a house so I would have some place to stay, because that's literally takes up the bulk of your, when you go on vacation is lodging. So.
Mm-hmm. And first of all, them California Hawaii houses are going to cost you
Exactly. And I can still spend money.
I don't know. I might put it aside for the taxes.
True.
Put it in an account so that you could collect enough money to pay the taxes every year on those properties.
Right? Okay, but that's what I would do. So, anyway, the TLDR version of this episode, the too long didn't read version of this episode, was that Kris is not currently looking for someone, but if someone were to, pop into his life, he's not against it. And also that person needs to be timely and not sketchy on their plans. So if they make plans, they have to keep those commitments. So I think that those are the two takeaways from this episode. Kris, do you feel like you have any takeaways from this episode?
I learned what TLDR was just now. Did not know that that's what that meant this whole time.
Oh, but don't you read Reddit?
Not very well.
Twitter? Oh.
Also, Twitter's not very, you don't need to put TLDR.
Everything is.
It's super short. So no, I learned what TLDR meant.
I'm glad, even though we were talking about his dating life and relationship status this entire time. So, yes.
All right, Emma. Well, where can people find the podcast?
You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at The Tea with Crema, and you can also find us on anywhere that streams podcasts, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Stitcher Podcasts. We'll see you next time. Bye! Da 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 da.